This video is sponsored by the subscribe button, as we are going for 20,000 subscribers by the end of 2025. Hello there, welcome to a very exciting LEGO Star Wars 2025/2026 set video. While we talk about new leaks for 2025 polybags, as well as what to expect and what we are going to see in 2026 in regards to Clone Wars and Mandalorian sets. So if you do find this video helpful at all, please leave a like as well as by commenting your thoughts down in the comments section below. And with all of that out of the way, let's jump right in. Alright, so firstly we have a look at a very exciting minifigure that is going to be coming in the next LEGO Star Wars magazine. This is going to be the clone pilot from the V19 torrent that actually just released a few months ago in the August 2025 wave for LEGO Star Wars. Now this may not seem like a big deal, but it kind of is in my opinion, because the fact that we're getting an exclusive minifigure in a polybag like this could mean that we are going to see the other exclusive clone minifigures from the summer wave, just taking for example the Commander Bly minifigure or the 327th clones, or even of course the long awaited and very expensive in the aftermarket Galactic Marines that are only appeared in some very expensive sets like the Turbo Tank and MTT. This means that we could potentially end up seeing those minifigures in smaller packages, or see them be sold completely separate from any sets, like in a poly bag, a paper bag like this that we see all over Europe, available for just a couple of pounds to purchase with a magazine. And this means that if they are throwing these minifigures into cheaper sets, which I'm very hopeful that we will actually see Galactic Marines in cheaper sets, it means that we could potentially see a Galactic Marine battle pack in 2026, because we've seen them do this before, where they throw some minifigures into a set, like with the UCS AT-AT, where they threw, I believe it was brand new Snowtrooper minifigures as the minifigures in the UCS AT-AT, and then they put them in a much cheaper set in the $20 Snowtrooper battle pack in January of 2022. So if you are looking for a cheaper way to get these clone pilots, I would totally recommend waiting just a couple of weeks until they go on a much cheaper price, and then maybe purchasing them off Bricklink from an international seller in a bulk quantity just to get them for a cheaper cost, like if you're mass purchasing them. So I think that is something that if you are a clone fan, that is definitely exciting and a much cheaper way to collect these minifigures, which otherwise would be in only expensive sets. Now it's time to talk about some of the recent sales that I saw go up on Amazon for the Star Wars wave. In general, just all of the Star Wars sets in 2025, a lot of them got big sales, like most of the play sets, the 18 plus sets. But I do think that the fact that the August sets are going on sale already, I think that was always going to happen because of just how poorly they were received by fans in the initial release, and then the reaction from people was terrible. So I'm very happy that they're on sale, because if this continues on and people just continue to hold off from purchasing these very expensive sets that have a very obvious clone tax, and LEGO knows that people are going to buy these sets because they have clone troopers that have not been made in a long time, or that have never been made. We saw that very obviously with the clone Turbo Tank in August. I think that set is one of the most controversial sets LEGO has ever put out, right up there with sets such as the Death Star or the First Order AT-ST. However, it is important to mention that the fact that these sets are going on sale means that future waves of sets could potentially get affected by the fact that nobody is buying these sets. And we all know that LEGO Star Wars is still massively popular and LEGO is still selling them, but they are not hitting the sales that I imagine they were hoping to, because they're hitting sales so early. So I'm very hopeful that this will affect prices in like maybe summer or late 2026, that LEGO will just lower it by a couple of dollars, 10-15% lower, even 20%, because we saw a big price increase due to the tariffs. Maybe those prices will go down next year, and that would be something that a lot of people would be very happy to see, because the prices have not gone down in a long time for LEGO. Ever since the price increase of summer of 2022, all the sets have felt that they're at least 15 to 20, 25% too expensive, and of course the tariffs and this past summer just did not help for LEGO Star Wars. And I think it's also important to talk about the fact that we have seen most of the January 2026 sets, at least the play sets, and they're a little bit underwhelming. We're getting a clone mech, we're getting a small Bark Speeder with Cobb Vanth and Cad Bane. We're also getting a small Grogu's Homestead, aka like a buildable Grogu, to celebrate the release of the Mandalorian movie, and then the long-awaited Mandalorian Super Commando versus 332nd Clone Battle Pack, except only 2 of the 4 minifigures are actually long-awaited. So it just feels like a very mixed bag for the January wave. Now, we have not seen the 18 plus sets. There's going to be 3 18 plus sets releasing in January with the buildable BB-8. That one is apparently super overpriced and really small for the rumored $90 price tag. It just feels like that one's going to be a complete ripoff, and I totally recommend that you guys hold off from purchasing it unless it has like the craziest. No, I can't even say that. There's literally nothing that will make me buy that set day one unless I get it for free, and even then I don't think it will be worth it. And then there's also the 18 plus MIDI scale vendor. That one is rumored to be releasing on January 1st, which is crazy. We already have a vendor on shelves with the UCS one, and I would love to see a playset version go on shelves soon. And with the the Imperial Star Destroyer that is currently on shelves, the playset version, I think having both of those on shelves at the same time would be really fun and something LEGO should definitely consider for the summer of 2026. Now, I think that we're also going to see a large focus on original trilogy sets in March of 2026, mostly because that is going to be the smart brick wave of sets, where we're going to see a bunch of sets have a new technology that LEGO has introduced into sets be put into these sets, and it will be a wave of sets that I imagine LEGO is going to heavily push out to their fans and even their ambassadors to promote this new technology, because I imagine they have spent a lot of money on research, development, and testing for the smart brick, and this is going to be something that they really want for all of their fans to be able to see, and it will be with the most iconic vehicles like with X-Wings and Darth Vader's TIE Fighter, and probably an A-Wing or a B-Wing, probably some sort of location scenes like the Mos Eisley Cantina or the Emperor's Throne Room. Those are all possibilities, and a few of those are actually rumored to be releasing next year, and so if they appear as smart brick sets, I think that's something that fans will be a little disappointed about, because these smart brick sets appear to have a very overpriced price tag to most of them. So if it's something that LEGO would be doing all these iconic scenes but giving them a very inflated price tag, I don't think that's the best way for them to be doing this. But then again, I'm sure they have a whole research and development team, and people will eventually get fed up with all of the releases and the fact that these sets keep getting more and more expensive. And something that I heard recently was nostalgia has a expiration date, which means that LEGO will keep pushing out these 18 plus sets to appeal to the older audience that, has nostalgia for the original Star Wars movies, but that will eventually run out, and people will be like, all right, well, we have all of these scenes and all the sets of the locations and the iconic moments from the movies I've seen. Why do I need to keep purchasing the next AT-AT or the next AT-ST? And I think that will be when LEGO realized they went too deep into the 18 plus line, and they will eventually have to back up on that, because there will have been everything done that they possibly could have. That'll probably be not soon, but within maybe 5 years. We'll have to wait and see. But thank you so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy, make sure to drop a like, as well as by commenting your thoughts down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for all the support here on the channel. It's been great, and I'm so excited to cover more 2026 news as it does release. So I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and goodbye.